That's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Let's rewind a little bit. What's up? It's Juice Beats, back with another race video. And this is the Calhoun Road Race in Calhoun, Georgia, Cat 4 and Masters 35 Plus race. My first ever road race, and we're already a couple laps in where we pick up the video footage here. And let me catch you up on what has happened so far in this race. It was a neutral start from the beginning until we actually got to the loop. So the little tail on the map was a neutral start at the beginning. Early on in the first lap, two riders went off the front and both teams' teammates were blocking for most of the first two laps to let them get a pretty decent lead on the field for a while. Here as we pick up, this is a 5-lap road race course, fairly flat, a few rollers totaling about 45.5 miles, and going into 3 laps to go where we pick up this footage, the field finally catches up to those two riders, and there are several places on the course where riders could launch attacks or bridges up to the leaders. And the field was pretty motivated at a certain point to bring them back. And so that's what's happening here. We finally caught up to those two riders. And here we go, going in 3 laps to go. The yellow line rule is in effect for this race. And what that means is you cannot pass the yellow line on the left there. And the roads are not closed, so you have to use the right lane only to maneuver on the course. So it's very difficult with a field of, I think, 40 plus, somewhere in there, in this race, and it's very difficult to move up sometimes. It gets very crowded at times, just being in that one lane. If you are able to use the entire road, it could have been a different race, and the blocking that went on early on in the race maybe wouldn't have hampered so many things at the beginning here. So we're a little bit strung out at this point on this first little stretch of the loop, but we're gonna start coming back together here in just a minute. Early on in the race, I stayed close to the front, so I was trying to be in that top 10 range, and that way I was able to see attacks, I was able to see any moves that were going on, and I'd be able to follow if I needed to. And with those two riders going off of the front early on, I made a calculated assessment of what they were doing, and kind of made up my mind that I'm not going to go chase those guys at this point. I felt like it was a little too early for them to be going off at the front and to be able to take it the distance. So I decided to stay back in the field at that point. And I think it was a good decision at that point to be able to stay back in the field, because we did end up catching them. And we're all back together at this point here. And so right now on this front stretch here, I am just kind of sitting in and just relaxing a little bit, conserving energy. You see, I'm not putting out a ton of watts at all. And I am drafting off of a bunch of guys that are in front at the moment. So conserving that energy was a big thing in this race early on. But also looking at how people were riding it, and just looking for openings to be able to move up as quickly as possible and easy as possible. So right here looks like there is an opening getting ready to come about here on the right, and so I'm just going to squeeze in there and follow up. And that was the right move there. Take me right up close to the front, nice and easy, not putting out any watts. I'm literally coasting down this little hill here, and yeah, look at my heart rate. how fast we're going and little to no watts at all. That was a big thing for me in this race too, was just being able to conserve energy at the best as possible, and kind of stay towards the front. So the drafting really helps a lot in this race. And there we go. There's an attack off to the left. It's a solo rider, and it looks like a couple people wanted to chase there. I believe at this point he goes off by himself, and the one that was chasing kind of falls back with the rest of the peloton, and nobody else is kind of respecting it at this point here. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's actually trying to follow at this point. I think they're just kind of letting him dangle. This was a tough one. You never know sometimes if people are going to be super strong and could go off the front by themselves. But I think with the amount of time that was left in the race, and just knowing how fast we could go, I guess as a group, that wasn't a really respected attack off the front there. He did get a little bit of a lead for a little while, but we're gonna catch up to him, I think, pretty quickly here. So yes, the yellow line is in effect, but on the turns, you're able to take a little bit wider turns. They do have, police escorts and things going on, so they're making sure that other cars are not in the way at the times that we are turning at those points. It would be really tough for everybody to turn just on the right side of the road at those points. This was the toughest hill in the race. I think it gets up to about 10% or so, and not that it was like a great equalizer or anything like that, because it was so short, but it was pretty tough. You had to push out a few watts to get up it here. I want to say that I was feeling really good during this race. Before, I didn't get much of a warm-up. I got maybe like 4 miles or so, but I was just feeling really good on the course. As soon as I got out there, the neutralized little tail part of the map at the beginning, I think it's about a mile or so, a little bit more than a mile. Just trying to get a feel for being in the bunch there. And then once we got out on the road, I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure if people were just going to punch it and we were just going to go balls to the wall the entire time. But really, there was definitely some tactics in there. And, I kind of just I kind of just sat in there and I felt really good. I felt very, very strong just being able to sit in there and draft with guys. And here we go. So I am just following these guys. They are going up to the front. I think there is a couple guys up there off the front, and I'm just going to follow here. Let them take me on up. Nice and easy. So we bridge on up to these guys at the front here. And we've got a little head of steam, so we're just gonna go ahead and take it on all the way through. Why not? And now we've got a little bit of a lead on the rest of the peloton here. Nobody else came with us. And I think what I was thinking in my head was, okay, let's go ahead and start rotating here a little bit and see what can happen. Because we had a little bit of distance between everybody. Looks like there was one that was trying to come up, or I guess a couple now. I didn't really see that when I was riding, but here we go. Like, I'm thinking they're gonna follow me here, and nobody's following, and I'm out dangling off the front by myself. And I'm not look at me, I'm not putting out anything. I'm looking back at this point, like, is anybody else coming? I'm not gonna do this by myself, which in hindsight, I don't know. Maybe I could have got a pretty decent lead at this point if I had kind of punched it, because I was moving pretty fast and I wasn't putting out a whole lot of watts here, and nobody was trying to chase me. But I'm just sitting back, I'm looking back right now, and I'm seeing, it looks like maybe some riders are gonna try to bridge up to me. But you know, as you can see here, I'm still kind of waiting. I'm not going yet. So I'm looking back this entire time, like, okay, you guys are just leaving me out here. You know, I felt like the teams were not respecting what I was doing out there in the front. But I understand, you know, some people don't, they don't want to ride with a solo rider out there. You never know. But here we go. I got a couple guys that decided to bridge up and jump on their wheels right here. Push over 1,000 watts just to catch up to their speed here. And then we got one more coming up right behind, and the rest of the field is back there. So here we go. We've got a little bit of a breakaway right here. 4 riders. This is it right here. We've got 4 riders out front. We're going into 2 laps to go here on this next lap. And if we work together right here, which we are, we're doing a little bit of a rotation. If we work together right here, we can take this one. 4 riders, that's pretty good for a breakaway, especially with the way things are going in the race and how fast we were picking up right here. We've got a substantial lead, and I'm looking back in the back camera here, and I can't see. I guess I can kind of see a blinking light back there, but I really can't see the peloton. So I think we've got a pretty substantial lead here, maybe about 15, 20, 25 seconds or so. Maybe even more than that, but we are working together. We've got a good pace line going with 4 guys, and this is probably one of the easiest parts of the course too. A nice 0% flat part, and we're speeding along here. So I think following those guys up to the front really bolstered this right here. So it really helped to follow those guys at the front. So now I've got a chance here. We can take this one all the way through. We just got to keep pushing hard here. And you see that, you know, once I get out to the front, I'm pushing, you know, over 400 watts. I really want this. You know, being out here in a break like this, I'm motivated, and I think these guys are motivated as well to do it. And I really want this to work. We really have a chance here going into 2 laps to go if we can keep this thing going. You know, those 2 guys at the beginning of the race, they were gone for the first 2 laps basically. So, you know, if we can hold this thing together, we might be able to take it all the way. And we are pushing hard right here. All right, so coming down on this turn here, picking up speed, still trying to fill out this rotation. I'm looking back at this point, and I'm looking back at our fourth man, and I'm trying to see, is he gonna rotate with us? It looked like he was taking a drink break, and yeah, so he comes back up. Okay, we're back in this rotation again. So I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's keep this thing going. Looking back, I don't see the peloton still. And we are doing well, working together right here. I was like, let's hold this. Let's hold these guys off. Let's keep it going. Let's build on this lead. We've got a really good thing going right here. And what happened? We lost the guy. And I'm not sure if he got tired or if he just decided, I'm not going to work with these guys because I've got my teammates back there, and you know, I'd rather take my chances with the field. But we still got three guys right here. It's me, myself, and these two other riders. We're still motivated to take this one, so we're going to keep pushing it with a three-man pace line. And I'm really hoping this could work. I mean, we've got I think a pretty substantial lead at this point. I'm not sure how many seconds, but you know, I'm not seeing the group behind us yet. And we're trying to keep this pace line nice and tight, keep this speed up. And here we go, second to last turn coming up right here. And this is a tricky turn. This is what killed it right here. Took the turn, I thought pretty decently, but I just didn't turn enough coming around that corner, and could not get control of the bike in time. And then of course, when I tried to get back on the road, my chain drops. I'm trying to put the chain back on. We got guys coming from the big group of the peloton right now, and I actually got hit by one of them. He went around me and kind of clipped me just a little bit as I was trying to put the chain on. I think if he doesn't clip me right there and kind of knock me off of what I was doing, I get my chain back on, I may be able to catch back onto the peloton. But that ended my break, and that ended my race as well. I was never able to catch back up to the peloton, although I did see them in the distance for most of the race. But this one hurt. I really thought that we had a good thing going. We had a pretty good lead, and we were all motivated to keep it going here. I felt strong, and considering how fast I was going for the entire race, and I basically kept my speed pretty close to what the peloton was doing as far as like average speed. So I definitely was strong enough to I think be able to keep it going, especially working with two other riders. I really think that you know, if we kept working, that it may have taken it all the way. We'll never know, but I will say this, that one of the riders in that group of three that I was with ended up third in the race. So I don't know if that tells you something there. So he was definitely motivated and definitely strong enough to make it to third place there. But man, so that ended my my race there. I did end up I think 23.5 miles an hour. And I think most of the guys in the race ended up around 23.8, 24 miles an hour for the end. So, I mean, I wasn't that far off, and I kept my speed going for most of the race. So, yeah, it's encouraging. I think that I am feeling very good and very strong at this point in the season already. This is only my third race of the year so far. And, you know, I think I can only get better from here on out. So here we are going into the last turn. The peloton, or the rest of the field, has already crossed the finish line, I think, at this point, or getting ready to cross the finish line. And I'm getting ready to take this last turn, going down the last stretch of the road race. And I've kept my speed pretty much throughout the entire race here. And you'll see, like, you know, one thing that I was looking at, I guess, as I was reviewing the film here, or the video, was, you know, just how deep I dug, I guess, to maybe have a chance to even get back on the back of the peloton. It was a pretty slim chance that I would, just as you know, they passed me up pretty quickly and I wasn't able to get my chain on in time. But just how fast I am moving at this point in the race by myself, without drafting or anything like that. I was definitely motivated on this day to be able to do something. Like, I wanted to stay up at the front. I wanted to be there at the end to duke it out, to sprint, you know, whatever was going to happen. I wanted to be there at the end of this race, and I felt strong enough to do that. And here I'm just kind of showing the last part of the race, just because I want to show you guys how strong I really was at the end of this day, even by myself, for the last 2 laps, basically. So I'm going into this final stretch here, and I'm pushing. You can see the watts here, the speed, and I am going right now. I am motivated to just finish this race strong, and just show what I can do, basically. So I'm guessing this guy kind of fell off the peloton, and, you know, I'm catching up to him. There were a few other guys that I passed on the way back, on the last few laps. It said that I got 38 out of 40 on this, but I think there were more guys than that. I'm not sure what happened with the names and stuff like that, but you know, I felt like I passed a lot more guys, and there were some other guys at the beginning of the race that actually, I think, wrecked out. So I'm not sure what happened with all that, but that's what it said. So I just got to go off of that. It really doesn't matter at this point, because you know, I wasn't up there with the rest of the peloton or anything like that. But here we go. So I think we're under 1K. And I'm just trying to time it here. This Mac racer gets right behind me at this point, and of course my back camera goes out, but I'm gonna finish it out this race strong. So I hit 1,400 watts here, and I am holding these watts, and this is not sped up. I am holding these watts until the end here, and then finally I look back behind me, I see that he's not near me anymore, and then I'm just gonna cross the finish line here. But that's how strong I felt in this race, and I was definitely motivated, if I was able to keep that break going, to make it all the way to the end on this day. It just sucks that I took that turn the wrong way and went a little too wide and ended up in the ditch out there. But yeah, there will be more races coming up soon. I am gonna be out of town for about a week or so, And then I think we start back up in April, and there's a bunch of races in April that I'm about to do. So I can't wait for that. And I will continue to get stronger here and keep making these videos. You guys need to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you can be notified when I post videos. But I hope you like this one. Please comment down below what you thought, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.